How's everybody doing? It's been a while since I made a video. Been doing a lot of meditating. Oh, David Abraham, thanks for viewing my video and visiting my channel. I'm an individual that has grown grown a lot in my life, like all of us. But what I mean is, I don't get set in my ways because I'm a searcher for truth, and that's kind of what I'm going to talk about today. The multidimensionality of what I know and some of what I've experienced. And I've shared a couple points here or there before, but I couldn't quite put it all together. And I asked God, my divine creator, I asked him, I said, understanding who I am now and all that kind of thing, I asked him, I said, I know there is more knowledge that I don't know, much more. And so I asked to know. After that sincere, heartfelt prayer, within 2 days, I think it was less than 2 days. I'm just calling it just a day. But anyway, and I've been looking for someone and then I get turned on to a YouTube channel, and I'm thinking, okay, this is interesting. It's different. It's called Cryon, and it's a whole different paradigm in mind. It's about just he explains the true reality of our existence. Okay, we're multidimensional beings. We are God, part of God, that kind of thing. And we have to develop our spirituality while in this three-dimensional existence, which is part of our multidimensional reality. Now, we're existing on several timelines at the same time. I don't know the exact amount, it's irrelevant. But the point of the matter is that we're in this school, this part of our school, and this is Earth, Gaia. Well, of course it is, but what I mean is this particular school here is very unique from other planets that may have living beings living on them. Now, not everyone, but in this galaxy, there's not been too many planets going through what we're going through right now, which is the Ascension process. Some might even call it the second coming of Jesus Christ, which it is, okay, but the timeline changed twice. Actually, 3 times. I pondered this, and the same message keeps coming in with a little added new to add to what I already know, okay? In 2000, where the change of the, when you had the change of the millennium, okay? And everybody talking about how, oh, this is it, computers are going to shut down the world and it's going to be World War III and all. None of that, okay? Because of the compassion and the love of people, and we're compassionate beings. We're part of God, and so a lot of people woke up. I woke up in the 80s, in '89 is kind of where I finally got a good sound mental clarity, a spiritual clarity of just who we are, having visions and dreams, and seeing things that I could understand. That's how they're presented to each of us when we have a vision or a dream. It's usually a metaphor, okay? And the reason it's usually a metaphor, because in our eternal existence, which we are eternal beings, and I've said that from the beginning, always have, always will, because I always knew it. But also, in our eternal existence, it is a spirituality that never dies. Our bodies, these obviously bodies will die. Christ taught that. But what he didn't teach us was that we will have multiple opportunities to relearn lessons on this Earth. Or maybe there's another Earth-like planet in another galaxy. It won't be in this galaxy. I don't know. That's just my thought on that. That's my opinion. But I do know that there are other Earth-like planets out there, and there are beings on those planets too. Getting back to what I was just talking about was our multidimensionality, spiritual awareness. Okay, now as you see me here, you see me in a three-dimensional, actually two-dimensional, but anyway, we're all parts of all dimensions. That's pretty right out there, isn't it? There's darkness in you and me and all of us. It's all accessible. The deepest, darkest horrors are available to all of us, not just to some of us who have committed atrocious acts. And while that's horrific, you know, what's happened to our children and all that's, you know, all the truthers talk about. And I'm one of them, but, you know, I listen to dozens and dozens of people. And I can tell when somebody just don't quite know what they're talking about. Doesn't ring true, okay? And that's the whole thing. If it doesn't ring true, it isn't true. Or, this is big, or you're not ready to know it. Therefore, it's not going to be revealed. And you go like, that's not true. Oh, that's not true. No, it's because what's going on up in here and what's going on in there is not lined up, okay? God wants us, the creative source, wants us to become one with all that is. How is that possible? How could we, you know, here we are, because we're spiritual beings. Jesus taught that. I go to my God and your God, my Lord, I mean, my Father and your Father. And that was in a reference to where we could understand. We have eternal parents, for lack of a better way to explain it, okay? We don't have a physical God. Now this is where I had to make an adjustment, and I'm still working on it, because Jesus was resurrected, or that's what's recorded, okay? But we don't have all the details of what he said about the resurrection. We have the general message, you know, to forgive each other and to love one another. That's all true, and that's the way to eternal life, no doubt about it. But we are already eternal beings, and if we don't figure out the tough stuff in this life, guess what? We're going to come around and do it again, but not on this earth, okay? This earth, in 1,000 years, okay? Oh, I don't have to worry about nothing. No, it's going on right now. But in 1,000 years, when the final accumulation of the perfection of the souls of earth comes to pass, and Jesus talked about this very thing as well. When the final 1,000-year, because we're in the new millennium, we're in, there's going to be, we're going to be visited by, we're going to think of them as angelic beings and that sort of thing. But they're the higher dimensions of ourselves and others who have been here to this earth before, okay? Now, there's a lot I didn't explain to set a foundation, and I'm not good at organizing. My wife will tell you that in a heartbeat. I have talents in other areas. Organization ain't one of them, you know. So I got to work on that, obviously, but that's irrelevant. But as we learn lessons, we signed up to come to this earth to deal with whatever problems that we deal with. We signed up to it knowing that it'll be an experience. We'll gain the lessons from it, and we'll die, and we'll be able to come back and go again. However, we are at the ascension of Earth, or Gaia. What that means is there'll be no more reincarnations on this Earth. Now, there are other Earths that are darker energy in this galaxy, and those souls who don't want to be part of the light, guess where they go? Boom! When the new Earth separates from the old Earth. Guess where the dark energy is going? Because you can't destroy energy, it just transforms into something else. The dark energy, because of the desires, and because of the eternal laws of the Creator, they'll go to another Earth, not this one, because this Earth is ascending. What that means is it's increasing in light. And I have personal vision of that very thing, and it's going to be beautiful. Now, I'll be part of it, and millions of others will be too, but what I saw, and I wasn't planning on sharing it, but I'm going to because it popped on my mind. I was dreaming, and it was about between 3:30 and 6 o'clock in the morning. That's where I have my good ones, but anyway, oh, excuse me, I had this dream, and I was standing in like a forested area, a very like a gardeny type area, kind of like this. Okay. In fact, it very, but anyway, like that, and I found myself without moving my legs. I couldn't see. I was just moving forward, but on my ends of my fingertips, on the ends of all of them, were hummingbirds. Now, are hummingbirds going to carry me into the next life? I mean, into this new world? Of course not. But because I love birds, I love life, and that was the representation presented to my mind to help me see that my heart is turning and my desires are correcting or being more peaceful and loving, and that I'm on the path to the new world, the new world, the new earth. I got to tell you, the scene I saw, I came through a little area like a gazebo, but it wasn't really that. It was much larger. And as I came through, the hummingbirds are on my fingertips, leading me in. It's all right, because it was bright and it was full of light. But as I stepped into this little area, I could all of a sudden see what I was looking at. Because when I was outside of it, I couldn't see it. It just looked like bright light. And I couldn't see any detail or anything like that. About got me. But I stepped in, and then I could see. And as I looked around, I saw different colors from the nature. But this was a step up in beauty times 10. And it was just, it was beautiful. And I'm thinking about it now, and I'm just touched deeply by it, obviously. But, you know, I hadn't asked for that particular one, but I desired to know. And that was the key. I gave permission for the energy to be revealed to me according to my ability to understand. And that's how you got to think about multidimensionality. You're not going to understand it in your 3D mind. It's impossible, because we're in a linear time and space type thing. Well, in a multidimensional, in a higher dimensional place, like where God is, the creator, there is no time. There is no time, and all space is filled with God. And we're in part of that space that's filled by God. Therefore, we are God. Okay? We have to learn and understand our emotions, our energy. Our heart gives off energy, our brain, and every living thing has frequency and energy, and whatever it generates is what it's going to attract similar, or it's going to repel those who try to keep you from, well, not those, try to keep the dark energy from clouding you, to test you. You agreed to it, and you said, all right, I'll go down, I'll go through those tests, and I'll have opportunities to doubt, and I'll have opportunities to, to mess up and make mistakes. And I'm just going to say it right here. The Bible, everybody knows, was written by men. They took experiences, and a lot of things were missing. And they took experiences that they had, and they interpreted the best of their ability according to what their thought process was back then. There were no horses driving through. There were no horses driving through space, taking somebody up in a chariot. That didn't the way it worked. But to help people understand at the time, this is the thing. We set the plan for ourselves, okay? And when we have any kind of spiritual experience, because we set it in motion ourselves, we had a desire. We wanted a plan to where we could discover truth and ourselves and the power we have within ourselves. And that's the whole key of it all, learning who you are. Because guess what? You are God with a small g, but you have power beyond your comprehension. And it starts with love. And it starts with not letting the world get you down. Because this earth is a beautiful, beautiful place. It is a beautiful, beautiful place. And I'm in awe by it every single day. And as I fall more in love with the earth and my fellow man and all that makes me feel good, okay? things open up. I got flowers, azaleas that bloom at my house year round. My neighbors got azaleas. They don't bloom but once a year in the spring. Mine bloom in the spring. They bloom in the summer. They bloom in the fall. They're blooming right now. They're over there on the other side, next to that crepe myrtle over there. Okay, but over there on the other side, I got my azalea bushes over there, and they're in bloom. They look beautiful. My neighbor said something last year. He says, "Your azaleas are in bloom in the fall." Yeah, I guess because I love life. I project out. I project out what I want in my life. So the old adage, what you send out returns. If you only knew how powerful you are to make that happen. And there's so many people who choose an easy, difficult path of learning again and again the same lesson. They let anger get the best of them, jealousy, ego is probably the biggest, which is pride. It is the biggest detriment to learning who you are. You got ego, and none of the religions are true. None of them. I know I said so earlier because I didn't know. I had a good feeling about what I was doing, and but when you keep seeing things for 30 years that just don't add up, and you keep having questions in the back of your mind, but yet you still desire to be a good person and to, step forward and be the best you can be and learn and grow and try to do all that you're expected to do. But I didn't know, and the church doesn't teach this, there's no prophecy going on in any churches. None of it is from God. Now, that's a big statement, ain't it? No, each one of us are prophets for our own lives. Our Creator, our higher self as well, will show us whatever we desire to see and can comprehend. If you can think it and imagine it, and you ask for it and are willing to receive it, you will receive it. Now, knowledge is the greatest thing that you can acquire in this three-dimensional living. And as you acquire the knowledge, then you progress into the next thing. You have to open up these understanding keys in your mind. And I don't exactly know how it works, except you consent to it all and you build a bigger love. You keep building love, and you allow your heart to really be filled with compassion and love for life and all that is light. And if you do that, you generate the power of God within you and around you. You're untouchable. Fear, there's no fear in you. I don't have any. And I'm not perfect. No, but I've learned a great deal. I mentioned Cryon in the beginning of this video. Let me just talk a little bit about Cryon a little bit. When I first listened to him, I said, that's the devil himself right there, telling me there's no punishment. And he just came right out and made a statement. He said, that's controversial, isn't it? Through the man that he talks through. And he defines, and I recommend listening to Cryon, but not if you don't want to hear a different paradigm about existence and reality, don't listen to it because you're not ready for it. And it took me a while to get there, but I listened, I prayed, and this is the funny thing about when Cryon would show up something, it was always an answer to prayer that I had the day before or 2 days before, or something I spoke out loud and wanted to know. Whatever it was, here it comes, the exact same thing. And then if I don't quite get it, it's funny, when you watch videos on YouTube, you have the ones that you haven't seen yet that come up in your menu, and you have some that you have continued watching and all that. Well, these are videos I'd already watched, and here they come up like I hadn't watched them yet. And I've watched some videos 4 and 5 times because I'm not quite getting, but I'm close. I'm not quite getting the depth of understanding that I need. Today I grew a little bit in all that and understand a lot more than how it works. I cannot explain the power of you to the point of you can do anything that you so desire. Now, you can't do so. I'm going to build me a skyscraper. Yeah, I'm going to go over there and look at that tree that's going to fall. None of that is reality, you moron, okay? I love you. But you got to think, what is practical? What is reality in your existence? There, you have to obey the rules unless there's something divine pushing you to do something. Now that's different. When you have a divine message and it comes into your mind to go do this or that or whatever it is, ponder it first, but then see if that's something that would benefit that person or the situation. But look at yourself, Don't think you're going to be perfect before you figure it out, because I'm not perfect and you won't be perfect, and God knows you won't be perfect. God is the divine creator. Jesus is a master and he is the Christ. However, men have corrupted the Bible. I got plenty of evidence of that. From the story of Adam, from the beginning to the end. The book of Revelations was put at the end of the New Testament to scare people into, a great world-ending event is coming. Well, the book of Revelation was written before any of the New Testament, except the 4 Gospels. And I think it was written right there. Well, I don't know, and I'm not going to pretend like I do, but I do know this. Book of Revelations was placed there at the end to give you a scare. Fear. And they teach you to fear God, follow the prophet, and all this stuff. These are the 2 things you need to avoid. You don't want to have fear in your heart. You want to have honor and dignity and respect for God. There is no right or wrong. However, if you choose a path of darkness and you pass this life, guess what? If it's not the plan you agreed to, you'll go back and do it again on another earth. Of course, I mentioned not this one, because this earth is ascending right now. The second coming of Christ is a consciousness effort. There is a flash coming. I don't know when, of course, but there is a flash coming. And that flash is going to be the final separation. Right now, there's a big separation going on. I can feel it. When I'm in my house and my yard, I feel like we're ascending already. But when I go and drive into town or something like that, I feel the negative energy pushing on me to hate, to be angry. And I yield sometimes, I get tested pretty badly all the time, and it's because I haven't mastered it yet. But I immediately dump it. If you have a bad moment, don't beat yourself up. You have a bad night, bad day, don't beat yourself up. Say, you know what? That wasn't too smart. And get a smile on your face and move forward. If there's anybody that you need to connect with, or that you would like to just reconnect with, desire it in your heart and speak it out loud, believe it, and watch it come to pass. Okay? This is all for now, but this is the beginning of a new video series that, as I feel inspired to record these videos, it's a step up. It's on multidimensionality, spirituality, understanding our physical being and where we're living now, and our solar system, and there's a whole lot more that I will talk about in further videos about how this universe. I can prove the Big Bang Theory is not true. No, it's impossible for it to be true. Next video, I'll explain it, and it's very easy to understand. Okay. Be good today and love everybody, but don't put up with no crap. And if you do put up with it, forgive them. You'll be good to go. God bless you.